So you're contemplating whether you should go to Anime Expo or go to your local con instead? Well, this is a valid question, but there are 4 different factors that you should take into consideration before you make that decision. Also, make sure you guys stick to the end because I interview cosplayers on what they think is the best place to go to. The first difference between your local convention and Anime Expo is the time you have to wake up and arrive at the convention. Normally, if you go to Anime Expo, you're gonna have to wake up at least 5 in the morning to get there by 6 in the morning. If you don't get there in time, you're gonna spend more time trying to get in than actually attending the convention itself. As for your local convention, I don't really think they usually tend to be that packed. Despite this though, here's my tip to you guys. If you want to find out how packed the convention is going to be or how crowded it's going to be, and look up a vlog of people who attended the convention prior, and there you could kind of get an idea of how packed the convention got that year. And usually most conventions tend to have like the same kind of crowd and attendance year by year unless they really sucked the year prior. Another key factor that might be important to you is panels. Now I'm gonna keep it 100 guys, there is no comparison when it comes to panels. Anime Expo just takes the cake. They bring the famous studios, performers, directors, and entertainers straight from Japan that you're only able to see here in the States. In addition, from having industry leaders, they have the widest selection of educational workshops, entertainment, and interactive panels ever to be had across anime conventions in the US. Local cons just can compete when it comes to bringing in big names, as obviously they just don't have that kind of influence or kind of money to do so. So the most you'll see is English voice actors doing Q&As, with side panels being pretty hit or miss. This is something huge to consider if you care about panels or getting to see early screenings of shows and movies. Now some weeb elitists might think that waiting in line for English voice actors might be a bad thing, but personally I actually do enjoy watching the dub when I can, keep that between you and me. I'm gonna lose some street cred points on the street, but it is what it is. Now, one thing you might have to really consider is the size of conventions, as you guys have to decide for yourself, does size really matter? And when I mean the size, I mean everything is larger. Anime Expo. The Artist Alley is humongous. It takes you a solid hour and a half to look at everything there, even if you're going at a moderate speed. This does not include the vendors from the dealer's room, which could take you another 2 hours. And keep in mind that people come from all over the world for this convention, so obviously you're to expect a lot of people and almost wait up to 3 hours for a single panel. But on the bright side, this also means there's a lot of things that you can do. It's to the point that you aren't going to be able to do everything, so make sure you pick and choose what events and activities you want to attend and miss, because at conventions like this, it's really easy to lose track of time and end up missing out on things you really want to do. Meanwhile, at medium-sized conventions, they do have some long lines, but trust me guys, they are nothing compared to Anime Expo. Most of the things you could do there at local conventions are limited, and you'll find that you've seen everything in about like 3 hours, which gives you time to see most of the shows and panels without needing to rush. And the free time, you can easily socialize, enter competitions, and find time to just smell the daisies. Yeah, the daisies. And the last thing you guys want to have to consider is the cost. Guys, Anime Expo is expensive, my G's. Tickets for the weekend pass is $145 for a 4-day pass, and the range between local convention passes tend to be a range from $30 to $80. Areas of expenditure are going to be more expensive at Anime Expo, so just keep that in mind. So now that I've broke it down, let's go find out what people think and find out which they prefer. All right, guys, I want to ask you guys, do you guys prefer going to Anime Expo or just going to Anime Impulse or...
It sort of depends. I feel like Anime Expo, it's a little harder to meet actual voice actors, to have like those personal connections, but I feel like Anime Expo also has a lot of interesting opportunities.
I definitely agree with them. If anything, as far as the con goes, funny enough, last week was Anime Los Angeles. A lot less stressful, way more interactive, especially with the fun ribbon games, if you ever check that out. Super, super fun for gatherings and just to chat with people.
With AX, I mean, like, you don't go there just for the cosplay scene and walking around and all that stuff, which you can get anywhere. They're like, say, tons of like really exclusive guests from the industry, like Japanese voice actors. So like when you get people like from the actual like serious industry coming over to visit, then that shit I'm always interested in, especially like the trigger panels.
I think it's definitely easier to go to Anime Impulse over one of the larger cons because it's cheaper, and in my opinion, it's something that I can actually go to every year again and again rather than like a once in a while thing, because I'm busy but this is close by, and a lot of my friends go.
In the end, guys, if you guys can, I would suggest trying to go into both. That way you truly know which one is the best for you. I know Anime Expo gets a lot of hate nowadays, but I still think it's one of the best conventions out there. It is kind of pricey, but you know, it might be worth the money to you. I know for me it is. And in my personal opinion, guys, I think Anime Expo is one of those things that at least every weeb should at least attend once just to say they did it, you know? Now, there's three things I didn't talk about, and that's because they really are equal like, all across the board. And that's pretty much, you know, how social groups are, the food, and just the merchandise. In terms of merchandise, the only thing that Anime Expo has over almost every con is just the artist alley, because anything you could buy at Anime Expo, you could just buy online. I think the only thing you're really going to save on is on shipping. So I guess if that really matters to you, because and in terms of exclusivity, there really isn't much you're going to find at Anime Expo. As for food, you know, what could you expect out of food of almost any event? It's going to be expensive and there's going to be super long lines. Most times that I go to conventions, I don't really eat there because I just don't have the time. As for being social, guys, if you guys are a social butterfly, no matter what con you guys go to, you're always going to make friends. I find that obviously at smaller conventions, there's more small knit groups that you guys can hang out with, and everyone's more chill since you have more time. But at an Anime Expo, it's a little bit harder, but you could still equally make friends. In terms of dating, because I know there's some of you guys, some lonely weebs out there, you guys are wondering what the dating game is out there. I don't know because I haven't really tried, but I would say that based off what I've seen, I think at local conventions is your best bet because at those places you can meet people who are actually from your area compared to you go to Anime Expo and there everyone people could be coming from Kansas, New York City, maybe a different country. So you could really meet someone you really like and they end up being from somewhere completely different from California or Los Angeles. So but anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I'll catch you guys in the next one.